If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. You heard me, it's free. What's better than that, right? Anchor also makes it easy by giving you creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more listening platforms. Best of all, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started so that your voice can be heard.
You're listening to Season 3 of Straight Talk with Trevor. Wait a minute, can kids listen to this?
I don't think so.
Cannot sleep at night when I do more wrong than right. I truly know that only God understands. When I'd rather be at home, when I'd rather be alone. I truly know that only God understands. When my heart is feeling cold and I feel it in my soul. I truly know that only God understands. When I'm feeling so depressed and I'm dealing with distress. I truly know that only God understands. While I'm yelling and rebelling, look, I ain't gotta tell him. I truly know that only God understands. When I do it by myself, I don't need nobody help. I truly know that only God understands. When it's hard for me to smile, and I haven't in a while, I truly know that only God understands. When it's hard for me to laugh, I ain't even gotta ask. I truly know that only God understands.
What's up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of Straight Talk with Trevor, the podcast where no topic is off limits. Tonight, I got a very special episode for you. Since the beginning of this show back in 2020, I'm about 30 shows in, and still to date, the most talked about, most highly rated episode is the show that I did about there being a divide between the black man and the black woman. So guess what? Your favorite person is back tonight. Q is in the house. What's up?
Hey, y'all.
So our show that we did, everybody loved you. Just let's put it that way. So all the guys were saying how you get it. You're so relatable. They need a girl like you, because you basically understand the plight of the black man. So I will tell you that. I mean, I didn't get anything. I may have got like one or two negative comments, but nothing even worth talking about, because you know there's always somebody got to say something.
Yeah.
When they feel you're defending the black man. But she's not alone. So also in the studio, I got Harold with me. What's up, man?
What's good, baby?
You all right? You enjoying your drink?
I'm enjoying my drink.
All right. So this is what we're going to do tonight, because y'all know I like to create controversy, so we can't agree on everything. So what I want to do, I'm gonna just rip off a bunch of like rapid fire questions, and then we could discuss them, elaborate on them, go into detail. Some things you may not have to go into detail about, but if you guys are ready, I'm ready. Grab yourself something to drink, and let's talk straight. The first thing I'm gonna say to you, I'm gonna read a post from somebody. I want you to tell me if you know who this is from. It says, some of y'all need to work on yourselves a little bit longer before getting into another relationship. A temporary fix won't work. Sounds familiar?
No.
That was from you.
Really?
Yeah, that was from you.
Where did I post it at?
You posted it on Facebook
I agree with it.
A couple of months ago. Let's elaborate on that.
Now. You said a couple of months ago.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Wow.
So some of y'all need to work on yourselves a little bit longer before getting into a relationship. A temporary fix won't work. What do you mean by a temporary fix?
I mean, your temporary fix could be anything. It could be another body. It could be food. It could be, you soaking in whatever it is. But, if you're not concentrating on yourself, you're not concentrating on preparing yourself for, the possibilities of you meeting somebody. What's the point?
So how does one work on their self? And okay, let's back it up this way. What would make someone have to work on their self?
I mean, after every relationship ends, whether it's good or bad, you have to do some type of self-reflection. You have to sit back and think about, what went wrong, what went right, of course, accountability. What part did you take in or, participate in the breakup? Because everyone can't sit here and say, oh, he or she was definitely wrong on how things ended. No, things, progressed to where you all, the relationship ended. So when you take that moment to just kind of reflect, so, just sit back and just think about, okay, you know what? I didn't like how, this ended, or I don't like how I was acting, or, how I behaved, or what I said, when we did this, that, and the other. How can you make changes, or how can you make some adjustments so that moving on to the next relationship, you don't take those toxic or negative behaviors over? That's the problem.
So as women, are you guys? Oh, it's that type of show.
Oh no! I was about to say.
Oh no, it's that type of show.
To interject, but go ahead.
Let me answer this question real quick. So, as women, are you guys capable of admitting your part in causing the relationship to fall by the wayside? I'm at your head tonight, man. We agreed too much last time.
Okay. Honestly, I don't think women have that capability in their bone.
See, that's why they love you. Because they wasn't expecting you to say that.
I think most women have a victim mentality. They, instead of them, focusing or even just open their eyes and looking at the big picture, they only focus on what led to versus the overall picture.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
No, I don't think. I'm not saying all women. Let me back up. I don't think all women have the capability of being accountable or being at fault.
All right, Harold, you were gonna say something?
I'm just gonna dive this thing deep.
Just go ahead.
So listen. So first of all, one of the issues in our community, I'm just as a culture thing, we don't know how to date. There's a difference between dating, and then there's a difference between dating with a purpose, and then there's a difference between seeing people. The problem is we're so captivated and put in a mindset of, okay, you get a man, you get married. You don't even know what you like. You don't know what you like, who you like. You have different phases in your life that you're supposed to, grow from. Me, I have been into, I can say 3 to 4 different phases in my life, and I look back and I can truly say I try myself to evolve in each phase. And one of the things that I realized that we don't know how to date. Like, and that's the problem with that, and it's and the miscommunication of that.
So tell me, how do you date them?
Okay, so first and foremost, when one of the problems us as men, when we see a young lady and we see her and we talk to her and we show interest, right? We get her phone number, want to talk to her, want to take her out. If we're truly interested in her, right? Taking responsibility and accountability, and which goes back to your second question that you said about women. Can they take, responsibility? Because every relationship was oh, he did this.
Yeah.
Or if I did this, it's because he did that.
He made me do
Right.
this.
Can we, like, we as men, we will sit back and say, you know what, yeah, man, I just messed up. Or,
You can cuss on this shit.
Yeah, or I just want ready to settle down. Okay, so I'm gonna say this. So I had a situation where I'm gonna go back. So an ex of mine, some years ago, we were in a relationship for a long time, right? Previously, before that, which is funny because probably around the first time when you met my cousin, when y'all, first met, got together, right? So, what have you, and some years later, being mature, had to have a conversation, and I said, because she held a grudge, like, you did this, and I moved on and I got married, and she held that, like, motherfucker, you did this, and you didn't marry me, you wanted to go marry this bitch, and the honest answer was, because I wanted her to understand, I had every intention in my mindset to marry you. So I'm gonna give ladies, I'm gonna drop a jewel to y'all. After a certain time when you are with a man, and he doesn't decide or make a move to get married to you, after a while, it's not that he doesn't want to marry you. What it is he's trying to figure out why should he. Don't let that go over your head.
All right, see, now my audience, you got to understand this. He didn't even want to be on the show. He wasn't sure yet. So now you see, but welcome to the Straight Talk Society. I got to move on because we're still on the first question. So this is what really set this all off. And I want both of you to listen to this carefully, and because I'm going to ask you guys different questions weighing in on this. I read a post on, I forget where I saw it at, but it says, no man will be ready-made, not spiritually, emotionally, financially, or socially. Ladies, if he was already all he needed to be, then there would be no need for you. God's plan is to bring a man and woman together so they can enhance each other's lives. A woman's role is to make a man be a better man and bring out the best in him. So now, Shaquesta,
That's fine.
I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think it's a woman's responsibility to help bring the best out in a man?
I don't think it's her responsibility. She definitely has to take a interest in wanting to do it. That would probably turn into a responsibility once things are a little bit more concrete and a little bit more stable between him and her. I definitely wouldn't do it during the dating phase. If it does move into a relationship where it moves into a marriage, then yes, it does become the woman's responsibility. But, from the get-go, it's a interest. If she wants to do it, she can. It's an option. I wouldn't say a responsibility.
All right, Harold, same question. Do you think it's a woman's responsibility to help bring out the best in a man?
I surely 100% do, and this is why.
Even in the beginning?
Well, no, not in the beginning, because that's the same thing. It goes back to the oxymoron thing when women say, in order for me to listen to him, he got to be doing this, and I don't even know if I like you like that. First of all, you might not move me financially, baby, for me to do anything for you. So my thing is, here's, and I always go back to the question. So, as a man and a woman, if you're a king and your wife is a queen, right? Mm-hmm. If you have a son, he's a prince. Mm-hmm. You die, he becomes a king. He can get any woman out the streets who has absolutely nothing. When he marries her, what does she become?
She's now the queen.
Correct. You have a daughter. You don't have an heir. You die, she becomes the queen. She pick a man, what does he become?
I don't know now. You're talking about the queen.
She becomes the queen's husband. That's it.
Yeah, so it ends there.
So my point being is, in order for him to be the best version of himself, to have, the better of y'all, of the family, that is pretty much, that's what's needed. Now, what Q said was correct. You have to know if you are pretty much invested, in him. But we're not gonna go down that rabbit hole because I was gonna say a lot of women go down and they make concessions for people when they see red flags and they ignore.
Yeah, and I only have a certain amount of time, and we only on question number 2. So let me ask you, Harold, can a woman build or destroy a man?
Oh,
A woman can
a woman build or destroy a man?
You got me shaking, man. Do you know from the beginning of time, Adam and Eve? What you talking about? Listen, my saying every day, all day has been empires have been built and destroyed off the backs of women. So hell yeah. Facts is facts. You know, a woman can make a man feel like the best thing popping, and at the same time, he can feel like the ugliest, the dumbest, retardedest man in the world. Trust me.
All right.
I've been in all phases, baby.
All right, Q. So let me ask you, first of all, does a man need to come to the table with all 4 of these attributes, spiritually, emotionally, socially, and financially? Do they already have to be at a certain level when they come to the table?
I think so. I believe so. My thing is if you don't, then how are you going to prepare to lead?
All right, so let me ask you this question: What does a man have to bring to the table spiritually?
He has to have some form of foundation, a belief. If he doesn't have a spiritual foundation,
but that's
then
odd.
what?
But I'm kind of interested. That's kind of oxymoron, and this is kind of the issues with the men and women.
Well, I want to know real quick, because you know my position. Former preacher, everything like that. Know the Bible like the back of my hand. Don't want anything to do with church. But I believe in God.
Yeah.
What if I came to a Christian woman and told them that? Because our people confuse spirituality with going to church.
Right.
That's why I didn't say anything about going to church. I said it had to have some form of foundation. So you have to have some belief, whether it's in God, whether it's in Allah, whoever. You got to have a spirit, have a belief of a higher being. That's the foundation. Because in the history of times, the women do what? When a man is grounded or he has that foundation already set, the woman does what? She takes on his beliefs. She takes on his, his foundation. Okay. So at the end of the day, if he can't tell me that he believes in something, some form of a higher being, where are we going?
I understand. I totally understand that. All right, so I'm gonna ask you this, Harold. As a man coming into a relationship, what do you bring to the table emotionally?
With that, bro, I really had to. No, real talk. I really had to evolve. I had to evolve and understand that part of you being able to protect your mate is to have some kind of kinship or understanding of her feelings, and you have to be able to, what's the word that we always use? We say with women, we want them to submit.
Don't cuss on my show.
But truth of the matter is, it's that for us, that's our form of submission. What women don't get, it's different. It's different, but it is submission for us to be able to do it. And I say this all the time. A lot of times with women these days, what's the word? You can get a lot of more, bees with honey than, with salt. So a lot of times with a woman, you're saying something to your woman, the first thing she's saying, well, who you talking to? Or you da-da-da-da. Instead of being the woman that you are in your feminine, in yourself, and instead of saying, baby, what's wrong? You having a bad day? I tell all the time, I don't care how mean, how angry the man is, he will soften up. And that's what, and then he'll let you know what's going on. But it's hard for us to do this because if you're trying to be like me, you understand what I'm saying? I'm already guarded out here with these other dudes and these other people. I already got them talking to me crazy. And I don't want to look soft in front of them. You don't want your woman doing the same thing. You're not going to emasculate me. You understand what I'm saying? You're not going to make me feel soft. And then that's where it goes. Man, we're not listening to each other.
So let me ask you a question, and this I'm pulling from a show that I did earlier this season about divesting, in which I'm going to ask you some questions about that later. But it's always been said, because I asked the couple that I was interviewing, I asked them a question, and I said, hey, what's the what I've heard about black men that date out of the race is black women just talk too much. And that kind of goes where you're saying, like, you don't want to have to deal with a man all day and then come home to nothing but bickering. Like, so do you agree with me on that, though? Like, well, no, I wouldn't say agree with me, because that was just something I heard.
It's funny you said that. So I tell Q a story when I was in college, right? So I was dating this white girl, right? So, intimately dating, I was, because usually, you mess with them, but when I said we were dating, so we were dating. And, I was just having a hard time, in school, and I was just aggravated. And me and her was talking, and a lot of things that we were talking about, and also, too, sex and everything. And she would, no matter how angry I would get or whatever, she would just put, something as simple, just put her hand, like, baby, you're having a bad day. Or even if I lashed out at her, like, look, man, goddamn, didn't I just tell you won't do this? And she was just like, listen.
She wouldn't buck up at you.
Right. But still stern, like, listen, what you're not going to do is disrespect me, but I understand you're having a bad day. If you need me, I'm going to be in another room. Your dinner will be ready at bum, 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 bum. Guess what I did? Shit. You understand what I'm saying?
Versus she wouldn't act like she had, like y'all were in a dick
every time.
Size
like,
match,
and then you're arguing with and I really think it's a culture thing, and I'm gonna be fair about it, because I am older now. I can understand the frustration a lot of times from the black woman when some of them feel like, I be wanting to do that shit, but this nigga's just dumb, or he don't listen, or he's just not respectful. You understand what I'm saying? And my advice to them is, just wait to a time when everything's just cool, and just relax and just say, baby, I would like to have a conversation. Not, I need to see you. Can we talk? Those are trigger words for us. Those are automatic. Here we go at the shit. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about.
All right. So I see I'm gonna have to have y'all back, because my time is gonna run out. I want to run that divestment episode back with you two. I want to hear your thoughts on it. So let me ask you another question. Before I ask this one, there's a statement I saw. It says, so there's this constant debate between black men and black women as to who should pay for this and who should pay for that in marriages and relationships.
Oh, God.
Men should pay for everything, women should pay half, etc. So my question is, where's the debate for us working together as a collective?
There is no debate, because those who are working collectively together don't have anything to debate about.
That's probably the best answer you could have gave to that question.
If you put 100% and 100%, because I don't believe in 50-50. I believe in when you and your person, your partner, your mate are together, you're putting 100% of your efforts in, and he's putting 100% of his efforts in. So when you're both working collectively, there's no room for argument or debate. You both are putting 100% in. Now, that is part of the whole communication thing. When you and your partner are getting together, getting to know each other, you should know each other's financial stance. With that being said, if the woman is the breadwinner, not even say the breadwinner, but if she is the one who is making the most money, and it is agreed upon between those two people, the outside world shouldn't know what the hell is going on in their household. Period. So if she paying all the damn bills and he's a stay-at-home dad and he takes the whatever, no one needs to know that's the arrangement, and vice versa. No one needs to know that he is, the breadwinner and she's a stay-at-home mom. No one should know the intimate details of you and your spouse's or you and your partner's financial status when it comes to how y'all run y'all damn house.
So I'm gonna piggyback on that question. Both of you can answer this, but what does a man have to bring to the table financially?
Again, a foundation. That's it.
And
how he's able to, can he help with, or excuse me, can he help balance the household? If he can't, if he or she can't do that, then what's that we're doing? You both should be able to have that conversation to say, hey, your foundation is, okay, you're employed, how much you're making, what's your salary, what are your goals, do you have investments, do you have, an account, do you have, a 401k, do you have retirement? All this stuff needs to be discussed, especially when you're getting ready to transition into marriage.
I'm gonna say this.
Well, let me ask you this question, Harold, because I'm interested in hearing what you're saying. But what do you say to the women that say that a man has to take care of everything? What do you say to that type of woman?
Them the women that ain't been married before.
Ooh.
Them the women that's single. Them the women that have they have the false ideas of what they want.
The shade.
And what they believe, what they think it is. Them the women and I ain't being rude, but they come from single family.
Be rude, man. This is straight talk.
Parent homes. And I'm gonna say
don't say single parents.
Well,
say single mother.
Single mother homes. Yeah. So my father told me a story how when him and my mother got together, he just went through a divorce. He had 2 daughters. Him and my mom decided to get married, and one of his things was he just got finished boxing. My dad used to box. Started working for Sears, and he was, he was like, look, I just let me get this situation straight. And my mom said, no, we're gonna get it straight together. So she told him, you work on everything that you need to do, pay your child support. My mom paid all the bills for 2 years. After that, I don't think my mama ever paid for anything ever again. But the point that he was making is, as a married couple, there are times that some people are going to fall off. Mm-hmm. One thing is not going to be like this forever. Mm-hmm. And we did have a time when some of our parents who were working in jobs for 20, 30, 40 years, that doesn't work anymore. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't happen anymore. There are things, that happen. So the whole purpose of marriage is as a team. Wherever I fall off, I know for a fact that you got me. And I don't have to worry about, because right now I fell off, you're going to leave because you don't want to deal with it.
So let me ask you this question, man to man, where the hell have those women disappeared to? That would pick up the slack and say, hey baby, you fell off, let me take care of this. I'm married to one, but I'm just speaking in general.
I think it changed a little bit in our generation, where the teenage pregnancies and welfare and the disingenuousness of, women started becoming, when they start putting, black women in housing, and they start feeling like I can pay all my bills and you won't bring nothing to the table.
The independent woman.
Yeah,
just
you
say
independent,
that.
but you ain't really independent. The government is your daddy. You know what I mean?
That's that mantra.
Right, and then you get a man who just comes show you around. He pay a little light bill and be around a little bit and make you feel special. And now he the man. But he the man, he got 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. You understand what I'm saying?
And 3 bitches.
But then you mad because you become the 9th baby mama. But he was a good daddy before.
Oh, that's another episode.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. Don't get me started. You trigger me.
All right, so this was a comment from Twitter, and it says, why don't y'all date within your tax bracket?
Oh.
What's the point of going after women you can't afford?
Okay, so I got an answer for that. The women that's supposed to be outside of I guess that's talking about 6-figure women, they don't want those type of dudes. Let's keep it 100. They want the blue collar, or they want the dude in the street. Because you want to know why? Because that's the man that ain't gonna take your shit. See, the problem is
and
y'all
get that back in.
Y'all get so stuck into money that your financial status. So I'm one of the people that doesn't bother me about how much you make, because I'm still know what I bring to the table as a man. If I used to say, even coming up, I used to, even in high school, college, talk to girls. A lot of these dudes get these girls because of what they got in their pocket. But then after that, then what? Because it ain't really love, it's not respect.
And
it's
that's
just
all
a mutual,
that's
it's just a mutual
foundation.
it's a mutual transition. And I understand that a woman says that, but that's a woman that ain't really never have nothing. Because a person that had something, that means she has substance. A lot of women that's only thing that she's thinking about is money and all of that. That means she ain't never have no money. So for her, now that I got that, that's my God. I can do this, and I ain't dealing with no nigga that.
But
does
half
this,
of the time, them men don't want them type of women.
they don't stay.
Period.
They just
don't
knock
stay.
them down.
And
keep
then
it-
when those women get those types of men that makes all that money, there's so much more bullshit that comes with him.
Right.
Okay.
You wanna know
Because
why?
he's making all that money.
You know why he gonna say? He gonna say, "Shut up, baby. Well, why you ain't come home? What
What
mean
you
why ain't
complaining
come home?"
about?
I was right. I pay all the bills. You ain't got to do nothing but look cute.
You
look
driving
pretty.
your Mercedes. You able to get your hair done every week. New
Right.
wigs. Get your pedicure. $200. Go get your facial massages. What the fuck you? You ain't got to pay no
And you want-
bills.
hold on, and
you
we're-
going on trips. What the fuck you talking about?
Listen, and we talking about culture. That goes back to at least the white women understand that position. The white women that are in those positions that only want men that have money, they know how to shut the fuck up.
Well, that's
You
all because
understand?
they come from money. Most of
that's-
those women come
but
from
my-
that
I get it,
environment.
but my point is, they know how to play the game.
Of course.
They know how to be cute, all that, husband going out, and bitch, mind your business. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's it. They get mad, they take trips, they get their little boo thing on the side, they have fun, and they keep that shit moving. A lot of times with the black women, they don't know how they fantasize. Oh, girl, he gonna treat you better. Girl, he gonna do this, he gonna do this, he gonna do all that. And then when he figured you out, he gonna throw you back out to the ocean.
Hey, listen, this show is just going to write itself tonight. So let me ask you another question then. What makes a woman wifey material?
Ooh, good question.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this. Because I was married before, and my thoughts about that is different now. I literally, that person, that I got married to, first and foremost, I just thought she was the one. And it was just based off, I just thought she was a good person. I thought we had the same mindset, the same goals. Now, I need to know what your mindset is. We need to go sit down and take a literacy class as far as finances. I also need to know what's your thought process of parenting. I need to understand your traumas. I need to, just know your dynamic of your family, because that's very important too. Because if you don't really have a relationship with your family and you can just drop them at a dime and not, then who am I? Some people get married or be in people's lives just off of, at the time of convenience, or survival, so to say.
So Q, let me ask you this question. Would you consider a prenup?
Yes.
And how would you react if a man asked you for one?
Prenup!
You think I would act like that?
No, well, okay, so you said you would consider a prenup. Why?
You mean as far as me signing one?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, no, vice versa.
Oh,
If
vice
you-
versa. If I'm the one making the money
Yeah.
and I'll put it on the table. Of course, we'll definitely have a conversation.
Why though?
Why would I consider a prenup?
Yeah.
I think it's more so of just, what's the word I'm looking for? You just want to make sure all your ducks in a row.
So what are you trying to protect if you're in it for the long haul?
Who you trying to protect?
I like
Yeah.
it.
The purpose of a prenup, like
Yeah, you
you're
wanna
going in,
protect
you
me.
want to protect what's yours, but why? If you're in a committed relationship.
Okay, so I'm gonna use this as an example. if I'm in an industry that my partner is not familiar with, I would consider a prenup at that moment to protect, what I was able to establish. Along the way, of course, I would want him to become more, knowledgeable and have a more interested input on the business or what I have going on. And once we come, together and have the same mind frame as far as, the direction of the business, we can come back to the table and dissolve it. But at the beginning, Yeah. Now, if it's the shoe on the other foot, I would sign it.
No problem.
There will be no argument.
You wouldn't feel disrespected about it, or
no. I'm the same bitch that have a problem with my baby daddy asking for a damn paternity test. Okay, get it.
and as you should. If you're not married, you should get a paternity test.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as marriage is more than just I love you, and I mean, of course, I've never been married before, but I have a lot of divorced friends, and they all say the same thing. Marriage is like a business.
I say that all the time, and when I say that, I get crazy looks from married people.
But that's based off of
marriage is a business.
It's a business. I mean, of course, you love and affection and all the the sweet things and all that stuff is included. But you got to have real conversations and real shit happening. How your finances looking like? You know what I'm saying? Of course, about the spirituality, emotions. Physical, all that stuff go into it too. Now, on top of what are we doing together? Are we going to be building something, or are we just going to be two people just hanging out and being in each other's space, and there's nothing else? We got to have some form of ambitious, interest in something together, in order for things to keep it going.
All right, I got this question for you, Harold. If a man has to bring all these attributes to the table, then what does the woman bring besides pretty looks and sex?
Then I don't want to ask. I just put my 5 or 6 in. I'm going to just keep it 100 right now. Like, at this point where I am right now, if that's the case, then I'm going to just have a cycle. Seriously. You're absolutely right. Because I stand to lose a whole lot more than she does. Yeah, and it can cost you. And the truth of the matter is, it goes back to the earlier question that you said, can women make you and break you? And damn it, that's one of the things that it can cost you. Also, us as men, we have to do a better job in choosing the right woman. We got to start running for things, for little shiny things. We love to run the little shiny things, and we don't get women with substance.
Yeah, you're right. I think
that's part of our, accountability.
I think as men, now as you get older, mature men, we need to start looking more for what brings you peace.
And that's what we want.
Yeah.
At this point, that's all I want.
Yeah, we want peace, because all the other stuff is ancillary. That we can get that from anywhere. All right, so I'm gonna read another statement to you. A man that cannot be manipulated by sex intimidates a woman, because now she must bring something of real value to the table.
Ooh, they ain't gonna like that. Ooh, they ain't gonna like that at all.
So now she can't say, because listen, my last couple of episodes were really deep, talking about suicide, and we were celebrating the life of a fallen soldier. This show tonight is gonna be one of my ratchet shows. So
to answer that, I'm gonna say this. That there goes along. It's just as high as the saying about women, about men bringing to the table, where he has to have this, he has to have all of these.
But that's the basis of what the conversation that we're having today is about.
Yeah, so it's like, but my point being is, it's the manipulation, because that, when I say it's up there with that, a lot of women, when you can't use sex, because for me, it's like, okay, I don't have sex, like, okay, after I bust a nut, now what? You understand what I'm saying? I'm probably not even gonna like you no more. If, I might maybe not like you that much. So I really, and which used to get me in trouble, because I really used to try to get to know the lady, the young lady. And if we're gonna talk about it, let's say it. And they end up thinking that it's more than what it is. It's just that in my mind, I know after we have sex, I'm trying to keep you around. I don't want it to come across as, okay, this is all what I wanted. But if this is all you bring to the table and all you giving me, then what?
Okay, so let me. So what do you say to the woman that I want to dive into this a little bit. Both of you can chime in. What do you say to the woman that uses sex as a manipulation tool? Like, oh, if you don't do this, then I'm going to withhold sex, but I still expect you to be faithful to me.
That wouldn't apply to me. That would apply to some. And I'm sorry, a beta dude.
So you said. So you said beta. You're a fan of Jesse Lee Peterson?
No, not necessarily, but I do believe there are certain types of men out there that
Absolutely.
certain things that can, that they allow to happen, and just certain shit. Like I hear certain things that people say, well, oh, what would you do if your girl did this and she came home? And I'm just like, I'm not gonna answer that. And they're like, why? Because that shit wouldn't happen.
Wouldn't happen to you.
Women knew who to play with, just like, you know what I mean.
So a woman couldn't use sex to control you.
No, I had tried, but yeah, no, because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm too much of an asshole, so I'll go and handle my business in the room and come out, because I know it's just a feeling, and once I get that out, you're just gonna make me be more of an asshole.
All right, so you mentioned dating earlier, so here's a question that I got from one of my friends. What's the peak age for a man/woman on the dating market? At what point should you be looking to settle down?
Whenever you're ready.
So, like, you can't.
No.
You're not going to be dating forever now.
Right.
I mean, well, okay, let's talk about it, because not every woman is looking to be married.
And not every man is looking to be married either.
So, what do you think? What do you think is the peak age? 50?
No, I mean,
I'm gonna say something that's sort of controversial.
Please do.
I believe that every woman wants to be married. I believe that subconsciously they do. I believe that some women that say they don't want to be married, I don't think that they believe in themselves enough that they can or they deserve to be.
I absolutely agree with you.
wow.
I think every woman. Listen, when I look at these Facebook
It's
posts
not.
and I see these women talking about, oh, I don't want to be married, this and that, I'm like, bitch, you lying. Like, that's all I'm saying. I'm like, you're not ready to be married, but you do want to be married.
Because you want to know why? When the situation presents itself and you find that person, guess what? That shit changed. That's just like saying, another statement I'm saying, someone be like, oh, I don't want no kids. Okay, you don't want no kids until your ass have kids. You understand what I'm saying? And if you didn't want that,
Triggered.
But if you didn't want to have no kids, you would make sure you put yourself in a position
You do
not
know
to have
some
no
niggas.
kids.
You do know niggas do set people up and shit.
I get you.
Okay.
But I'm
Trigger.
gonna say this again. If you absolutely, I'm gonna say this. I say this, and me and you, we have a debate with this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when I make this, and I say I feel like women should put more onus on themselves about getting pregnant than the man do. And you say, well, you know what? No, it's 50. I know for a fact, there's certain women that I mess with. They were like, nigga, I ain't finna get pregnant. You gotta make sure you put that thing on. Like, they made sure they were not gonna get pregnant from me. Absolutely, positively made sure. I know women who done had sex with dudes and within the hour go get the plan B. Women are hypocrites. And that's okay. But the problem is only for things to change, you gotta own your shit. You gotta own it. And the truth of the matter is, maybe you might keep saying like, no, I don't want to get married. That might not been in your plans. But it's inbred in you.
Yeah,
it is. It's inbred.
I just think every little girl had
You
that
tell
fantasy
your
wedding in their head.
child as a little girl, you so pretty, I want you to do good, go to school, get work, and get married. You tell your son, he's cute, he's handsome, boy, you have to keep them girls off him. It is not told him to get married yet. You just told him to be a good person and to get a good job so you can be able to take care of yourself. Marriage might come later on, but it's not inbred in us. That's the same as women. And that's just my opinion. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to have you for one of my men's round tables, because this. So okay, so let me ask you this question. Let me read this statement to you. It says, a lot of men really don't like women. You like the way they make your penis feel, but you don't like women because you don't value them.
That's not true.
What do you got to say about that?
I love women. Anybody that know me, matter of fact, I get along with more women than I do. I can literally sit in just strangers cafe and just sit down in any ages, young girls, middle age, older women. I love women. I value women. I think they are the most precious things that we have in the day of age that we have into homosexuality. That's a whole nother subject.
But you are one of how many men?
So you get what I'm saying. So
I get what you're saying.
a lot of men, because I guess the statement off of Twitter, they're saying all men want to do is have sex, because you don't have to equate sex with value.
Right.
They're not the same. So you could have sex with as many women as you want. That doesn't mean you respect them.
But that's part of my problem. That's all I was saying. A lot of times, I guess it's like me mind fuck. I don't necessarily want to have sex. I really like intimacy, which can get you in trouble a lot.
You ain't lying. So you said mind fucking, they go with the problem right there. Mind fucking.
So
that would go back to the emotional though, because men could play on your emotions though.
And then when you play on the emotions, and then you have the thin line between love and hate type thing going on, well, that's another debate. They're trying to figure out who was in the wrong. Was she in the wrong or was he in the wrong? My whole thing is she saw the red flag. She moved forward. He knew he was the red flag, yet and still he still went after the catch. Who's at fault? At the end of the day, everyone is accountable for what they're part of in the bullshit.
My future voice, I ain't never been the problem.
You're the problem, the face of the problem.
No,
but no, mind fucking can get you in a lot of trouble. It can definitely get you in a lot of trouble, especially if you come across a woman who is weak in thoughts, in terms of she gonna accept or she gonna fully believe what it is that you're saying to her. And no, I'm not talking about women being manipulative and they go after what they want, and if
women
you was an
want
ugly
what they
nigga,
want. I say it all the time.
Of course that, but at the same time, men also need to be held accountable.
We are. That's the problem.
Y'all not, because y'all don't. Some men do not hold themselves accountable.
Women want what they want. A woman,
and so
I
do
can
men.
put myself in many situations and say,
ooh, child.
There were times that I did X, Y, and Z, but. Come on, bitch, stop playing. Stop acting like you didn't know. You understand what I'm saying?
That don't have nothing to do with that, but you still proceed to do what you was doing.
Do you know what they say after this?
Man.
Here's the thing. This is what they say after this. Well, I fell in love now. Bitch, let me ask you a question. If the shoe was on the other foot and if it was a man, did the same thing, you think he gonna stay? He gonna be out. He ain't gonna be like, well, I fell in love, and so I still stayed. I don't give a fuck about that. You understand what I'm saying? I just think you have to be accountable for your shit. Women, at a certain point of time, women feel like I'm invested. That's one. And once they feel like they're invested, I'm not going to just.
But if that's
up.
not what you want, you stop it. You stop it dead in its tracks, especially when you see it happen.
But you don't.
But men don't do that.
No.
How do you
go? See, there we go.
What you mean? How you know?
How do you stop it? You can't stop. You can't stop somebody's feelings for you.
No. What I'm saying is this: if you do not have a true interest in that woman, stop.
Well, maybe he has a true interest.
He don't.
To a certain extent.
They don't have a true interest, because if he fucking 6-7 different women, he doesn't have a true interest in every last one of those women.
So let me
finish. Mm-hmm. Because those women don't know that he has a vested interest in 5, 6, 7 other women. So they are led to believe at times that, he really want to get to. You laughing?
Yes, I am. Because I'm going to make a point.
Okay, you can make a point, but let me finish mine.
Right,
but anyways, so his thing is, if he see, okay, you know what, she cool, but I don't like her like that. Like, we're cool. So instead of her coming by and bringing food to him and calling every day and they texting back and forth and all this other stuff, you ain't trying to see nothing with this girl. little mama, like you cool and everything. I'm not where you at. You see it coming. You see it happening. That's why when women invest, they not only invest in their heart and their bodies, they invest in other things as well. If you can't match that energy with that woman, if you don't want to match the energy with the woman, just tell the truth. Listen, little mama, we cool, but we ain't cool like that.
Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the break.
Oh gosh.
If he's dealing with 5 and 6 different women, you ain't getting no time. So if you ain't catching on, I don't know what the hell to tell you. Number one. Again, number 2.
Lies.
Yeah, how is that possible? How can a man deal with so many women and you not know?
He's lying because
Trevor,
he's lying.
Trevor.
He's lying.
So you just
because you can't always be going through some shit.
Hold on. Number two. It goes back to my original statement. If women knew how to just date and know how to be treated on how a man is when he's invested in you, then that will be a simple fix, and you
Let
would
a
see
woman
the
do that
red
to a
flag.
man. Boy, please, feelings be hurt.
Hold on. You would see the simple fix, because when a man is invested in you, every day he has to talk to you. Every day, some
He
way,
talk to him every day.
No, listen.
Duh.
No, I don't mean through text. That's cheap.
We talking about on the phone as well, sir.
I'm talking about seeing, time spent.
All that.
Hold on.
All that. You fit the man.
No, stop.
The man will fit the man.
No.
The man will fit the man wherever the window fits.
I'm telling you because I did it.
If he got a little head that'll come by before in the morning time to bring breakfast, bam, he can spend a little time with her.
But you can't tell me that makes that he's invested in you. That ain't nothing. Women can do the same thing. What I'm trying to explain.
The gift of the words.
Listen, what I'm trying to explain to you is when a man is truly invested in you, and I'm so sorry to say this, that's the problem. A lot of black women have not had a man to be invested in them. They haven't had a father or a father figure to show them what a man's supposed to do. One of the things that triggers me is when a black woman say, if it was a real man, bitch, how you know? You don't even know your
I
daddy.
agree with that.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I agree. When women say, if you should be a man, who the fuck is you to tell me what the fuck to be?
And that's something
you know who your pappy is.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that. I comment when I see women be like, oh, he need to stand up and be a real man. Question, hands raised. Well, baby, what's a real man? Right. Give me your definition of a real man. Because I can't sit here and give a definition of a real man because I'm not a man. Contrary to what people may think, I'm not a man. One,
girl,
and then two.
No man.
Huh?
You ain't no man.
All right, listen. This is what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna take a pause for the cause right now, and we'll be right back after these commercial messages.
I'm sorry, dog. I didn't mean to say that.
And we're back.
So I wanted to ask you guys a question because we were talking about a man being emotionally invested with multiple women. You don't have to answer this question if you don't, because I don't want to get you in trouble. But
you won't, because you can't. You can't be emotionally invested in all women.
Do you think? I gotta be careful how I ask this question. Do you think it's natural for a man to be with just one woman?
No. I don't believe in that.
Holy shit! You answered that too.
I don't. I'm gonna say this. I truly believe we have monogamous moments. I don't, and you know, until I'm proven wrong, people arguing, and I'm like, okay, well, did you ever cheat before? Yes. Okay, we've never been monogamous. The next person has that person ever cheated before? Yes, but here goes the thing with women. Yes, but I only did it. It doesn't matter. If you are who, you know what I mean? If you are who you are, it really doesn't matter. That's something I learned, which is old school. My grandmother has taught me, like, it just is something as simple as, she was saying about cooking, making a plate. Like, I didn't do it for him. I do it because that's my job. That's my duty as a wife, as a mother. Like, so it doesn't matter about what he does. I think a lot of women don't take on those kind of characteristics anymore.
So what would a woman have to bring to the table to make you be focused only on her?
Dun dun dun.
Gotcha.
No, so you know, I
Got
know
it.
because I want to answer honestly.
Nothing.
No, no, that's not true. I want her first and foremost, her mindset. But you know, that's gonna get her in the door. I have to know that, you know, as far as her mindset, she's able to adapt, evolve, and to listen and to understand. Those things are very important to me. If you notice, you know, most men, I don't care about how much you make. I don't care if you make no money. You understand what I'm saying? Because as a man, I'm going to do what I need to do anyway to be able to take care of us if I feel like I'm invested in you and want to go to that next level. But I really need to understand that and understand that I'm able to have peace with you. Like you said, from your original statement, will you bring me peace? And I'm not gonna, even in the times that I'm gonna fall short, are you gonna be able to love me enough to see past that and pray and fight with me through that? A lot of women, they don't know how to do that. You know, they don't know how to do that at all. They don't have the longevity or the tenacity or the integrity to even do those things. That there is something that we need to dive into.
All right, I want to ask you guys a couple more questions before we wrap up. Can someone raised from love handle someone raised from survival?
Ooh, that's a deep question. There's definitely gonna be some conflict
That's a
somewhere.
trigger. That's a trigger, dog.
That's gonna be
I
some
just
conflict.
left that situation.
Because we know on my show I talk about I'm black first, so I always talk about our people first, and the lack of fathers in the black home, well, at least what they publicize, because there's a bunch of black fathers in the home, they just don't show us that part. But the daughters, but those who do grow up without their fathers in the home, they don't get the full spectrum of love. And now they're in survival mode, and then they end up getting with someone that had both parents in a loving home, raised them right, spent time with them, did everything. Can those two type of people gel with each other?
I thought so. I'll you know, because I like to, you know, when I say things, I like to talk from experience. Me personally, the way I see it is, I love someone at their best, and they left me at my worst, and that kind of sums it up for me. That it's easy when you're dealing with somebody in survival mode. It's kind of like when everything is good. Because it goes back to, you know, when we talk about marriage, a lot of people don't understand that it is through sickness, health, richer for poor, like all of those matter. So, you know, I say this all the time, marriage is a choice every day. It ain't just a year. You choose to be married every day because every day is something. You ain't always gonna like that person. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and a lot of things that I've learned helped me watching my parents. You know, growing up, I used to think my dad was passive. I used to say, you just let her run over you and da-da-da. And one day, I was married and I went over there, just sit down and watch the game with him. And my mom came in there and she was fussing and she was yelling. And he wasn't saying anything, and I said to her, I'm like, you still fussing, Mom? Like, golly, all these years, like, ain't nobody. She told me to be quiet, and she's still fussing. And he turned and he looked past me, and he said, all right, sweetheart, I'll get to it. And she said, okay, and she left, and I turned to him, we sat down, waited 5 minutes, I said, but dang, Dad, like, you ain't never say nothing, you just let her just keep telling you everything. And he says, we watching the game, right? I said, yeah. He said, I could have did what you wanted me to do, I could have argued with her. You would have probably had to leave. TV would have been gone and would have missed the game.
But isn't that like being a prisoner to your circumstance? So let me say this real quick. So you've been married before. So I have a secret men's group basically where we discuss certain things. And I was at a wedding recently, and from everybody from the pastor and people that stood up and spoke, they all kept saying happy wife, happy life.
Which is bullshit.
They all kept saying that.
Which is bullshit.
So after everything died down, I went up to the couple and I said, listen, let me tell you something. I got almost 10 years in this. That happy life, happy wife, happy life shit has ruined more marriages than anything in the world. I said it should be happy spouse, happy house. You've been married before. What do you think about that?
I just truly believe, like I said before, it's going to be times that, and this is where it goes back to understanding the dynamic of marriage. Because back to what I originally said, my submission should be able for me to be vulnerable to you as my wife. I shouldn't have to feel like if I, be vulnerable and you looking at me like, well, you a man. You, like, we did, like, it's going to be times, it's going to be things, it's things that we go through every day as men. We don't get to express a lot of times because we got to deal with the kids, we got to deal with family. But my spouse, she should sometimes, just like us, we need to see past certain things with our wives when they're going through things, And you should be able to come and talk to them, and you should be able to tell them. And I think the next part, when I get married, that's one of the things that's going to be very important to me, where I should be able to be vulnerable with my spouse and to be able to tell her and say, look, I'm not doing well. I don't know what's wrong, or this is bothering me, or this. And I don't have to worry about later on down the line, we get into an argument, she get up and she throw it back in my face. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I should be able to be comforted in understanding that this here is my partner. This here, she has me through thick and thin, just like I have her. Not just when I'm doing things she want me to do. Not when I'm, on point and the times when I ain't doing good, and I'm having a bad day and people asking me what's wrong. She's supposed to be able. It's the importance that the queen is the most important piece on the chest because she protects the king. And I think a lot of women need to understand that they are very important. And if they understood they have that, that importance through their femininity, you don't know how a lot of in our black communities, how far we can go.
I've always said on my shows that the black woman is the closest thing we have to God on this earth. And I stand by that. So Q, I got a question for you. A statement. Broken men know who to love, but not how to love. Broken women know how to love, but not who to love. What do you think about that?
I think I kind of agree with that. Repeat that one more time.
So broken men know who to love, but not how to love. And broken women know how to love, but not who to love. I think that goes back to the daddy issues.
Definitely. And mama issues.
With the women.
And mommy issues with men. Definitely.
All right.
Oh, that's powerful. I like that though.
So let me ask you, so here's another statement. When a man earns money, he dreams of giving his woman the world. When a woman makes money, they feel they don't need a man.
The girl on Twitter, she just made the point of that. That's what she said.
That's what feminism came in at. That's why so many women, that independent woman miss kicked in at.
I got another story about that.
Stupid.
All right, real quick, because man, this time is just running off of me again. So I did a show beginning of season 3 about divestment. Black women divesting from the black community. Like, they just don't want to do anything with black men anymore. And I thought about you when I did the show because I would have loved to hear your thoughts on that. So I want to read a statement to you. It says, my dream is for black women to exist as individuals without being attached to black men. A lot of the mistreatment we receive in society stems from our association with black men. If we abandon them, then the black woman's image will greatly improve.
That is stupid.
This is from a black woman also. Let me say.
So where the hell she came from?
She's gay. She's feminist. Okay.
So
She can't be a feminist if she's saying that she wants the black woman to kind of, act like the black man don't exist, but to go elsewhere. So she's finding love with other races of men.
So when me and you did our show, is there a divide between the black man and the black man and the black woman? I asked you a question. Do you think the black man has failed the black woman? And you told me, yeah. Mm-hmm. But never did you mention you wanted to be done with black men, period.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this question. Do you think the image of the black woman is frowned upon in society?
Yes.
How so?
I think it's that stigma. And I mean, to be honest with you, we kind of help with the stigma of being that angry black woman. Of course, it can be misconstrued and misunderstood. It's situational. But at the end of the day, yeah. Like, and it was, and I, although I don't agree with everything, but, Harold did, make a really good point. We have, when we were raised, just in differences as far as a black woman, a girl and a boy. Okay, boys are, raised not to be, by single women, not by a man and a woman, not by a ideal household, but by a single woman. She raises her daughters to be what? Strong, independent, hardworking, whereas she may raise her son to be a little bit more soft and pretty much the ideal of the man that she wants him to be for her. So when we're, coming up, hell, I'm thinking, and I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't like that. At one point in my life, I'm like, I can do the same thing niggas can do.
So Harold, let me ask you this question. Do you think the black man has played a role in the black woman's image being frowned upon in society?
I think there are different variables to that, but I definitely believe we have. I believe we have, and it goes back to the point that Q was making was, my analogy is always, a lot of women get mad when I say this. I said, men don't raise sorry men, women do. And when I say that opens up to a conversation, and they say, well, how is that? I said, well, here's the thing. You have a little boy, you have a son, dad's not around. The first thing the woman says, and even our classmates, a lot of them, I raised my son to be a good man. You raise your son to be a good man to you.
Yep.
Because what he does, he treats you good. You tell him what to do, what not to do. He gets a girl. She falls from hook, line, and sinker because they hurt my. Oh my God! Look how he treats his mama. He loves his mama so much. He loves women, not necessarily. So he gets with her. They get together, have a kid. He doesn't know what to do because why? Because mama did everything for him. So then she gets mad. She go to mama. Like, your son's sorry as hell. She said, bitch, my son not sorry. My son is good. My son treats me good. You understand what I'm saying? And it's just a revolving circle. Me as a man, I can hold my son accountable. I can tell him about certain things. We can have conversations about real conversations. One of the things as men, me and my baby mama, we used to go through things because naturally we wasn't together. And I remember one day, he was like 16, 17 years old, and his mama called me. She was like, I'm gonna kill him. He's talking crazy. So I get on the phone and I say, yo, what's good? What's going on? So my son said, again, getting older, he says, Dad, she be tripping. Remember all the stuff she used to do to you all the time? She do the same thing. She be talking to me crazy, man. I don't know what's wrong with her. My first response for him was, well, first of all, that's your mama. No matter what happened between me and her, no matter what she said to me, no matter how she speaks to me or what our relationship is, that's your mama. You're going to respect her. Now I went through all that and, later on me and him talked, and he said to me, later on, now he's, young adult, he in college, and we just had that conversation. He said, she never spoke up to you like how you spoke up. Because it's been times he's mad at me and he did that and she said, well, I told you your daddy ain't dot, 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 dot. But I told him that's the difference. I'm the man. It's not my responsibility to be emotionally and, doing all that because it's not personal. I want your mama, in order for you to be the best version of yourself, she has to nurture and love you, and you have to have a certain level of respect for her. That's the difference. And if women understood that, because now I'm above the whole, because now my thought process is above the whole marriage thing. It's now learning to co-parent. Because truth of the matter is, we live in a time, I have to read the room, everybody ain't gonna get married. As we see people have kids outside of wedlock and they ain't trying to get married. I just think we have to learn to co-parent and being able to respect each other and understand that father has just as much as a right as you as a mother. And in order for him to be productive, you have to allow him to be that way. Even if he falls short financially or whatever, that's your fault because you chose him as a baby dad. You understand what I'm saying? Just hold on. But it goes both ways because mama, like I have one son, she was crazy crackhead and I used to go talk to my mama. You know what my mama used to say? You chose with her. I don't want to hear it. You know what that did? It shut my damn mouth. Because I did. No matter, even if I didn't intentionally try to get her pregnant, nigga, however I made it happen, it happened. So you got to be able to take accountability and responsibility for that. And you have to just work on whatever you have. You got to deal with the consequences you have. I always say this. You can't play victim to the circumstances that you create.
So, in closing, I got two more questions for you, but I want to make this statement. So, a couple of weeks ago, I saw a friend that I hadn't seen since high school, and we were talking, and it's interesting. Men a lot of times have things on their minds, but they're afraid to express it, which is why I have this outlet, because I'll say whatever. Mm-hmm. And we were getting to talking, and I asked him, I said, do you think, as great as the black woman is, and I've said I think the black woman is the closest thing to God, as great as they are, as much as they've done in life with the least,
right?
Do you think they play a bigger role in how messed up these boys are today? Because we always like to blame the dad for not being there. Absolutely. But what about the mom that is there and coddling these boys?
Absolutely. That's your answer right now.
Absolutely.
He answered it too. Like she raising him to be her man.
Right.
That's it. I cannot. I hate, and I'm sure I'm going to get some backlash, but I hate when I see mamas dressing their sons like them with the same Jordans and the same Jordan T-shirt and jeans or my king.
Oh, he's the man of the house.
He's the man of the house.
Hold on. How can he be the man of the house? I'm sorry, I don't mean that, but that annoys me. How can he be the man of the house, but as soon as you get a nigga and he ain't paying no bills, he ain't shit, but you got a little young dude, you giving him all the responsibilities. Mm-hmm. He's not the man of the house. He's your son. Understand that.
It's a big difference.
And I think that black women are flawed in that aspect. I'm not going to say a problem. I'm going to say they're very much flawed.
Yeah,
in that.
Their mind frame when it comes to the responsibility of raising their sons is totally warped. I mean, when I say, and I have a lot of female friends on my timeline that have sons, and I'd be like, what? Are y'all fucking?
Yeah.
Like, y'all are really in love with y'all sons. Oh, he's so handsome, and that's I think that's inappropriate talking about, like, it's disgusting to me.
I think the black woman has been forced into a position that she was never intended to be in.
Of course.
Right.
So my last question before we wrap up, it's not really a question, it's another statement. And I want you guys to listen to what I'm saying here. It says, black women dating down lowered the status of success and work ethic in black men in society. It really has hurt the image of black men. So I guess what this person is saying, because black women are dating down, it's not causing the men to come up.
I think that's, I'm going to say this. I believe that it's oxymoron, it's hypocritical.
I think it's bullshit.
It is, because you say that, but then at the same time, I see women on Twitter, like you just said, that I ain't finna date no man if he don't make this much money. So you can't have it both ways, sweetie. I just think for the most part, it goes, but also too, it goes back to what we were just saying, the men that they choose. Like, you can't, these chicks have 2 and 3 kids, and then all of a sudden, by oxymoron, you have these high standards. You don't get to do that, baby. That coochie is used 10 times over. No disrespect. But you don't get to play that role. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't get to have some kind of victim moral code about yourself. Then you got 3 ain't shit baby daddies, and now you telling me what you ain't gonna deal with. Where?
But that's the same thing for a man that's community dick with 20 kids.
Listen, I don't argue with that.
Okay.
I have no problem with that, saying that, and I totally agree with that. I'm gonna say this all the time, and I use me as example. I have 3 kids, 3 baby mamas. You know, some women say to me, you know, you're a great dad, and I say to them, I'm not a great dad. I'm fair, I'm okay. And they said, well, why do you say that? And I said, there is no way I can be a great father and I'm not in the household. You absolutely cannot be a great father if I'm not in the household, because I do not, on a day-to-day basis, being able to impose my thoughts, my feelings, and my will and my actions into it, because I'm not with their mother, they're going to do what's in best interest of them all the time. They might consider me sometimes, but for the most part, you see it. You know, have my daughter, hey, I want to do, me and my daughter's mom, we got into a big argument about the COVID shot. And it was one of the things I stood ground on. I was like, really, I was livid, because my daughter, you know, I called her and told her, look, I just sent you some money. She said, okay, cool. It was great, same day. Hours later, my daughter called me like, hey, Dad. I'm like, hey, Pumpkin. She's like, I just come from the doctor. Okay, what's wrong? Mommy gave me the COVID shot. Now, bitch, you didn't have no problem. You didn't have no problem getting money. Out of respect, you could have said, hey, I'm getting her, which I told you I wasn't comfortable with that. Now, I'm not saying that you wasn't going to do it anyway, but at least have respect enough to have that conversation with me. Now,
you can't pick and choose
when you want me to include me. So she says, I don't know what the big deal is. So I said to her, okay, I'll tell you what. When it's time for her to come stay with me, I'm just going to pick her up on Friday, and I'm going to keep it a Wednesday, and I'm going to take her out of town. You're going to call her phone. She's going to say, hey, Mommy, we in Orlando, Daddy took me to Disney World. You're going to be livid. Yeah. Truth of the matter is, I didn't do nothing wrong, but it's going to bother you because I didn't give you the respect and enough to having that conversation with you. That's the same, and this is the thing why I said, that's the problem I tell young men all the time. I tell my son, I tell my son all the time, there's like, don't have any kids if you don't intend to marry that woman. Mm-hmm. And that's just what it is. Those are things that I just learned.
Wow. And I'm going to end the show on that.
Parenting is definitely it's an imbalance and when it comes to parenting, especially when you have 2 individuals who are not in a relationship and they're not in the same household, it's definitely going to be a huge imbalance when it comes to those vital decisions when it comes to the child. I personally, I've tried to include my daughter's father in a lot of, important decisions. That motherfucker just didn't give a fuck. So now that she's older, I don't include him in nothing. I just make the decision to keep going because you've shown me that you don't have an interest in what's going on with her. So I definitely can, when I see one of his baby mamas acting up or whatever, now I be like, do they want my baby daddy? Like, is that, because I can give them him, because baby, they'll learn a good lesson from him. I just think that some women are very warped when it comes to, child rearing. Let that man get them kids. Let that man help take care and raise those children. You take your breaks when solicited and when asked for, and do this shit together. I'm telling you, women, it will be a whole lot less stress on you when you allow that man to father and parent his child.
And with that being said, this has been a tremendous episode. Very impromptu because this wasn't supposed to happen, but I'm glad that it did. It all worked out for the good. In closing, I always leave you guys with these words of wisdom. Always seek out the truth for yourself, because if not, you'll fall victim to someone else's interpretations of them. And with that, I say peace.
Let's go to war. 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 I don't spread fear, rather spread love. Before I ever shed tears, I'd rather shed blood. Disappear from my peers so they won't judge. I've been here many years, so I won't budge. I roam alone because I'm destined to be alone. In my possession is my weapon and microphone. A lot of people love to talk, but they ain't really know 'em. Chop me down like a tree, but I keep growing. There is no mercy in my eyes, better be cool. Caught by surprise by the smile, don't you be fooled. Step in the booth, the only place that I can't confide. Telling the truth, I'd rather die than to live a lie. My heart is pumping, I'll be damned if it ever stops. I will still be the best even if I never drop. Don't close your eyes when you die, you won't see God. I'm sick and tired of these frauds trying to be hard. Let's go to war, man. Let's go to war. 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 This is in my nature, I don't plan to lose. You won't make the paper or make the news. Look.
If you can't get enough of Straight Talk with Trevor, be sure to like our Facebook page. You'll get page-only exclusives like links to early shows and behind-the-scenes video footage. You can also participate in polls that might shape future shows. The best thing about our Facebook page is that's where you can get in direct contact with Trevor. You can also leave show topics, reviews, or even request to be a guest on the show. Again, like us on Facebook, and thank you for your continued support.